So you have this app that you can see the local fires around you, and this week there have been many fires in Portugal, and this is actually us right here, and all around us are wildfires. Kind of scary, so we figured let's have a look at one of those. Welcome to a new Project Kamp update. Yeah, you might have seen it in the news. Many heat waves and wildfires in Europe. In every cafe or bar you go here, you see fire on the news. And the government sends out SMS with fire alerts. It feels like Portugal is on fire. So we figured, since they're so close by, let's get in the car and see one. Where are we?
I guess in the middle of nowhere, but we just found like a sign of a fire in the horizon when we crossed by the highway. So we stopped. Now we try to find it over this bumpy road.
We're currently 10 minutes away from a big fire. We're not sure what we're gonna see, but it is right. Something. So there's the fire. Looks quite impressive actually. Helicopters around it, giving water. Village close by. But yeah, it feels like a lot of smoke coming in this direction. Kinda want to see it a bit closer. So here you see the fire and the amount of people there, 60, 12 vehicles and 2 helicopters or planes. You can see it's scaling up, like more people coming, more vehicles. So it's still very much a growing fire. Smells intense.
Yeah. Alright, we're running.
So there in the back is a big fire. Well, it's kind of scary actually, seeing it like that. You hear some people, I think they're putting the water on it. And it's raining ash here. The whole village is empty, some people in panic, some people are brushing their floors, I don't know why. But yeah, weird atmosphere, helicopters going. Very strange. Wow, there's someone up there as well, you see?
Yeah. It's either a farmer or a firefighter. Looks more like a farmer.
So there are currently 90 firefighters, 21 vehicles, 2 aerial. We actually recently saw also a plane with water and 2 helicopters. Actually seen 3, not 2.
So it's planes and helicopters, right?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like we should help or something. Like that farmer guy, fuck. Oh, the guys are just standing there, no? weird sound. It must feel painful as a firefighter that you feel you get it under control and then...
It's smoking.
Still smoking. Oh, that's how you spread a fire, I guess.
Mm.
Here, another one.
Wow.
So we were just at the fire, it was impressive, but then while we were at the fire we saw another fire occurred 40 minutes away, so we're now going there. I think it's even as double the amount of firefighters there. So let's see.
So apparently we found it, huh?
Looks like we found it. I hope, otherwise it means there's another bigger one.
So we're now in another place, which we found over the app. We just jumped over a fence because the road was blocked. And now you see there some beautiful spinning windmills with some smoke and some fire. Yeah, there it is.
So here's the second fire. We found an easier way. Just drive on top with a car. A lot of people are watching it, but quite intense. There are 3 times as much firefighters as in the other one. Way more airplanes going around with water. But there's less tree, more like all these bushes on the ground. But it's really a massive surface that is just burning and growing, as you can see here now. So it's impressive, the size of it. Windmills still to go.
Why? So they're setting the field on fire right now.
Yeah, and then it burns, I guess, and the fire cannot continue. So we live on a piece of land close by, and forest fire will be one of our main risks living here, and they also seem to be increasing here and around the world. But we realized we actually don't know too much about them, so we made this special fire episode to find out. So after seeing fire, we wanted to know more about how do they start, are they increasing, and are they even bad? So we dropped by at the local fire station to understand more about it.
So we are here today at the firefighters' place. It's just the municipality that involves our land as well. And today we will have an interview with the chief of the firefighters, and he will explain a bit more how fires work and how firefighters also work. And we might get a tour around the establishment and all the equipment that the guys have out there. So let's go.
Yeah?
Fine.
Ok. Boa, outra vez, Helder.
Pronto.
Sim.
Sejam bem-vindos. Nós somos uma associação de bombeiros com 116 anos. Servimos a população de Santa Comba, do distrito e do país. Inclusive já tivemos missões internacionais no terremoto da Turquia, em Moçambique, nas Cheias e Timor. Temos um efetivo de 70 homens, nomeadamente no pré-hospitalar, que é 90% da nossa atividade, nos incêndios florestais, nos acidentes rodoviários, nos incêndios urbanos e em toda a panóplia onde é preciso socorro. Para isso treinamos uma vez por semana, temos formações constantes do nível da Escola Nacional de Bombeiros e, feito esta pequena introdução de quem somos, vou mostrar alguns dos nossos meios, ok?
Então, só o Helder precisa estar aí, se calhar, no seu trono.
É puxar as cadeiras.
Qual é o seu nome?
Helder Mota,
Qual é a sua posição nos bombeiros?
comandante dos bombeiros, há 8 anos. Fui 6 anos segundo comandante e fiz carreira até subchefe. Entrei em 1981. Mais de metade da minha vida foi nos bombeiros.
Quantos fogos já combateu?
Milhares. Em 40 anos, milhares.
Quantos fogos muito grandes já combateu?
O maior foi em 2017, 15 de outubro. Até aí estive nos grandes incêndios do país, Mação, Pedrógão, Fundão, Serra da Estrela, por toda a zona centro, dos Argaril, Góis, por aí fora.
Qual é que é normalmente, o que é que normalmente inicia os incêndios?
Negligência, essencialmente, e o crime. Essencialmente a negligência. Portanto, os pastores, o agricultor, o cigarro, desta forma negligente. Por outro lado, o crime. E o crime, não digo que há crime organizado, mas há verdadeiros profissionais na arte de deitar fogo. Recordo que no ano passado foi agarrado um engenheiro eletrotécnico que fazia dispositivos para lançar incêndios a posteriori. Isto é, ele preparava o dispositivo hoje e o incêndio só deflagrava 3 ou 4 dias depois. Portanto, tinha temporizador e, portanto, digamos que isto reforça aquilo que eu sempre pensei, que há profissionais no ato criminoso de lançar incêndios.
Porquê que as pessoas lançam incêndios?
Há uma doença que se chama a piromania, que são as pessoas que gostam de ver arder. Há as desavenças entre vizinhos e até entre familiares, portanto, para prejudicar um porque não ficou com a herança ou coisa que o valha. Há assistência mental. Não há uma razão objetiva para que as pessoas procedam desse modo, mas o que é certo é que acontece e que fazem, e depois, quando são agarradas e confrontadas em tribunal, não sabem explicar porque é que o fizeram. E o alcoolismo também. O alcoolismo também é uma das causas apuradas nesses incêndios criminosos.
O Helder acha que o número e a força dos incêndios ultimamente tem mudado?
Sim, sem dúvida. Os incêndios estão cada vez mais violentos, mais difíceis de combater. Tem a ver fundamentalmente com 2 razões. A primeira delas, o abandono nos espaços rurais da floresta, onde hoje é da floresta em termos daquilo que é a limpeza da floresta, que antigamente era utilizada para os animais, o mato era utilizado para fazer a cama dos animais, as pessoas tiravam a rentabilidade da floresta, nomeadamente com as resinas, naquilo que era o pinhal de pinheiro. Hoje não. Optou-se, em alguns casos, por uma cultura intensiva do eucalipto, porque tem uma rentabilidade muito curta, isto é. Por outro lado, as condições climatéricas. Estranho, né? Mas isto são as trovoadas habituais quando eu era miúdo, em maio. Em maio era tradicionalmente um mês de trovoadas, mas o clima mudou isto tudo. E, portanto, quando se junta As alterações, o calor, ventos, leste e o abandono, há menos incêndios, estatisticamente, mas mais violentos. E, portanto, com áreas de queimadas muito grandes, de centenas e até milhares de hectares. Sim.
Peço que me interrompeu, mano. Temos aqui um alerta para um incêndio no IC12 entre Santa Comba e Carregal.
Força.
Centro Florestal.
Sim, força. Bom, incêndio. Olha, vai ser o helicóptero, queres ir filmar?
The helicopter is going out to film it.
Yeah.
Yeah. E também estamos feitos
Estamos?
de entrevista.
Ok. Então vamos ver o helicóptero que ele vai sair.
Now we've seen the fires and talked with the firefighters. Next we want to have a look at a recently burned land to see what it looks like afterwards. So we're currently at a burned down land, burned down a few days ago. As you can see, it's still a bit burning there in the back. Everything on the floor is like ash, still warmish as well. And they actually say in the recent days 40,000 hectares burned down in Portugal, which is 4,000 times as big as our own land. It's a lot. And 53% of that was forest area, so a lot of trees burned down. Yeah, I guess this is what it looks like. This isn't even fully burnt. There's still some trees there in the background. They might survive, maybe not. But yeah, besides that, it's all burnt. Still smoking there. So here you have a stone building still standing. You actually see it in this landscape that the stone structures are still standing, the rest burns down. And I think it actually influences people's choices a lot around here, how they build things. Using stone or concrete buildings, don't use wooden window frames or plastic, but use metal or aluminum. And I think also for us it's going to be quite an important factor for our land in the future. Like what kind of building materials do you use and are they fire resistant? A lot more to figure out, but I can now understand a bit why you would do it. Inside the little ruin, wood is still there, survived. House for wasps now. It's a cool nest. Burned, road. Not burned. And seeing this, you really see the effect it has on the environment and how it changes the landscape and people's choices. But we still don't really understand what to do. Are fires natural? Is it a bad thing? And why are there so many? Especially here where it rains so much. And how would we avoid this in the future? So next we're gonna have an interview with a professor who's been analyzing fires for about 30 years. It will probably be a bit lengthy, but I'm sure it will contain much valuable information.
My name is Joaquim Sande Silva. I'm a professor at the College of Agriculture, so in Portuguese is Escola Superior Agrária de Coimbra, and I'm teaching basically topics related with forest fires. probably what makes Portugal such a fire-prone country is the human factor. So humans that put fires and humans that should put out fires. And we are failing in this part. So people are basically the big cause of forest fires in Portugal. I know that this is controversial because not everybody agrees with this, but from what I see and what I've read, I think we have too much ignitions and a firefighting organization that it's not suited to, at least not enough, to this fire regime that we have. So, and then we have another problem, which is a big one, that is exotic plants, like eucalyptus and acacias and acacia, which is a spiny shrub that is increasing in central Portugal and northern Portugal. And these species, they are very well adapted to fire. So when fire comes, they spread, they regenerate, they reproduce. And so the area of eucalyptus is growing, also thanks to forest fires. The area of acacias is growing very much because of forest fires. Even worse, apparently we are creating a fire cycle, because the more these species spread in the landscape, the more the landscape becomes fire prone. So you have a cycle of invasion and burning and more invasion. So in many regions in Portugal, the normal fire regime is that it burns every 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, which is not enough for the vegetation to become more mature and for trees to grow. So you have this central region of Portugal which has a very high fire hazard, and also the northern part of Portugal. And then when you go to the south, although the climate is much harsher, so it's much more hot during the summer and dry. So apparently one would say, well, why doesn't it burn that much in the south? Because you have a limiting factor, which is the fuel. So you don't have enough fuel there to make big fires occur. Also, you don't have that much ignitions because it's much less populated. So you don't have so many people doing activities that cause fire. Well, that's a very that's a big issue, even, and it's not consensual even among the scientific community. What I can give you is my perspective. We have to put it in historical terms, because and also geographical terms, because it's not the same when you talk about like, for example, the big forest fires that occurred in the Yellowstone National Park in the United States in 1988. It devastated more than nearly 1 million hectares within about one full month. It was a terrible fire that was devastating the most important national park in the United States, and the first one in the world, and really the icon of nature conservation. And there was a big debate whether we should put out these fires, which were basically natural, because there was no one igniting those fires. It was a thunderstorm that really was striking those pine landscapes, and you can really question yourself, well, should we put out these fires? Because this is nature working, because these ecosystems have to regenerate every 200 years or something like that, okay? And another thing very different, is when you are in the Iberian Peninsula, in Portugal, for example, where 93% of the fires are human caused, and where the natural fire regime has been lost at least 5,000 years ago. I don't think that this national strategy of cleaning up the land is sustainable, because it's not economically sustainable and it's not ecologically sustainable. So there are other solutions that take more time to reach, but they are more sustainable and they give better results. It came out a program of landscape transformation where someone has dreamed one day that the government could be the driver of landscape transformation at a country scale. I don't believe in that. Unfortunately, I don't. But at a local scale, I do, because there are several examples of that. There's many people like you, around the country. There's many people interested in restoring their lands, that don't want their lands to be completely covered with eucalyptus and acacias. They want something else. They just need an opportunity and someone to guide them, and maybe some financial support as well, because it costs money to do that. Huh? I'm so pessimistic about
You gave us hope.
the future. I gave you, but at the local scale, you see. But because I don't see how we will change our landscapes. I think we will have more and more eucalyptus in the future, and more acacias, and more forest fires. That's what I see at the landscape scale. So you and some other people will be the exceptions, but unfortunately you will be exceptions.
So the interview with the professor was cut down. The original one contains much more information, but it's also an hour. So we uploaded in the research module in case you want to see more. So here we are on the land. It's 10 hectares. There's a lot to burn. It's a hot summer day. There are many fires around us right now, which is risky. The north of Portugal is one of the most risky areas of Europe. The land burned down 5 years ago, and the professor says it's likely again in like 10-15 years. Risky. There's a lot of eucalyptus forest around us. Risky. Our own land is full of exotic trees that love fire. Also risky. And climate change is around the corner, which is also risky. So you might wonder, why would you live on a place like that? It's a good question, and I think we actually see it as a challenge, because this problem is big here but is growing around the world, and we cannot just let all our forests burn down. We need better solutions for this, and we like to be a place where we can test, research, document this and share this with others so they can replicate. So yeah, that's going to be our long-term process here. For now we did a few short-term fixes for this year, like installing some fire extinguishers, or bought a little water pump there in case the electricity goes down. We made a fire evacuation plan. But in general, this will be an ongoing long topic we're going to research here. Hopefully we find solutions in time before this whole place burns down. Let's see. So yeah, we're just going to keep on working. First step is going to take care of the abandoned land, then removing the trees that catch fire, then planting back the right resilient fire trees, retaining the water here, building lakes. A lot to be done. We'll just continue work and make sure to document it for you guys. Thanks for watching this special fire episode, and see you next time.